last set. X minus 1 all squared equals 4. So let's just take the square root of both sides, because as long as we do the same thing to both sides of the equation, we're allowed to do what we want. So square root all of that and square root all of that. What do we get then? Well, then we get that x minus 1 equals plus or minus 2. Square root of 4, when we've got x terms, in algebraic terms, is always plus or minus. So we know that, so we have to actually think of that as being two separate equations. We get x minus 1 equals plus 2, and we get x minus 1 equals minus 2. And this is going to give us two answers. X minus 1 equals plus 2. Move the minus 1 to the other side, it becomes plus 1. So one of the solutions here is x can equal 3. Or x minus 1 equals minus 2. X can equal minus 2. Move the minus 1 to the other side, it becomes plus 1. Minus 2 plus 1 equals minus 1. So you have two solutions to that equation, plus 3 and minus 1. We do the same thing here. Take the square root of both sides. We get that x minus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of 2. And we don't know the square root of 2 to an infinite number of decimal places, so we leave it looking like that. Move the minus 3 to the other side, we're going to get two solutions. So x can equal plus 3, when we move the minus 3 to the other side, plus or minus root 2. You can leave it like that, or you can say x1 equals 3 plus root 2, and x2 equals 3 minus root 2. They are two different numbers, okay? Because you've got your plus and minus here, because we've got square root symbols. Last one, x minus 2 all squared, minus 1 equals 0. Move the minus 1 to the other side. You get that x minus 2 all squared equals 1. Now we can take the square root of both sides, because we're allowed to do anything we want as long as we do the same thing. We then get x minus 2 equals plus or minus the square root of 1. Square root of 1 is nice and easy because it's 1. So we get that x minus 2 equals plus 1 or minus 1. So x1 is going to equal 1 plus 2. Plus 1 minus 2 becomes plus 2 equals 3. And the other value of x, x1, x2, is going to equal minus 1 plus 2, which is going to give us plus 1. So we have two different versions, two different possibilities there as well, 1 and 3.